Last week, I made a video about living seasonally, and in particular, with the current season, adapting the patterns and rhythms of your life to reflect the themes of summer. Feel free to go watch that video first, because while that video is like an ode to summer, this one is more about the dark side of summer. While there is so much life and energy and creativity in summer, summer also serves as this reminder that it is so important to stay rooted and grounded in yourself and your own values and belief systems. I have such minimal astrology knowledge. I don't look to astrology to predict my life by any means, but I do like receiving messaging and symbolism from a variety of sources. So at this time, we are in the astrological sign of Cancer. This is a really good time to evaluate your relationships to giving and receiving, because Cancer carries themes of giving and caretaking, and that's the darkness that I kind of want to explore. Giving is virtuous and is heralded as a godly practice in religions and cultures the world over. The giver is a main archetype of human existence, but just like any archetype, there is a shadow side. A side that is not self-actualized and does not reflect a real, rooted person. I would call someone operating in this shadow a martyr, not in the religious sense of the word, more of a social sense. In this instance, I'm talking about when someone uses their self-sacrifice, their giving, for the sake of attention or being able to complain about it. When someone self-sacrifices for status or social standings or for appearances. This is the darkness that summer can bring to light. Summer is busy and fun and chaotic, and again, brings with it themes of giving and celebration. But what happens when these things are not lived out in their true essence but in shadow? This is when we start keeping a tally on how much we have given and received. We start calculating fairness in our heads and stop giving with love, but instead give with expectation. We give and we give and we give until we feel as if we have exhausted our resources mentally, emotionally, physically, and then we feel victim to our own giving. As if someone else should have swooped in to take over. As if someone else should have been doing the giving instead. As if we should have gotten something in receipt by now. Anyone is capable of walking in this shadow, but I'm going to speak to the experience of American women and mothers for a minute. I think we have a special kind of turmoil to navigate when it comes to giving, and I think that's because our cultural concepts of the masculine and feminine have long been tampered with. I could speculate on and explore that subject for a while, but I'll just skip to my interpretation of the state of present-day femininity. Our cultural depiction of mothers is one of a constant outpouring of giving and caretaking for their children, their spouse, their career, their home, and for themselves. You can't forget self-care. But while it is nature for a mother to literally sacrifice her own cells for her children, feminine energy is much more receptive than giving. So when we give endlessly without also receiving, we fall into a little bit of a role play, into the shadow of the giver. And this is when I think that martyr comes out in us. We feel completely restless and maybe even bitter because in our perception, we are shouldering all the responsibilities, all the giving. But at the same time, we can't stand to see anyone else taking over those responsibilities, because what would people think if they saw us resting and receiving instead? We would lose our identity and our role if we were not the constant, fabulous caretakers that our culture encourages us to be. What if instead we get so comfortable with ourselves that we know exactly when it's time to give and time to receive? What would it feel like not to feel like we have to explain why we're resting or make some sort of public display of our worthiness? This sounds so easy and carefree, but will probably take a bit of intentionality because this process is twofold. You first have to feel rooted enough in your own being to call these shots for yourself in confidence. And then you have to know that you will probably be judged by others, especially if they are operating in martyrdom or the shadow giver, and you have to be able to live with that. But imagine the love and ease we could feel for ourselves and in our relationships if we stepped out of the role of the martyr and just gave into true, loving spirit of giving. Give yourself permission to connect to something real, to your real self, to real life, in celebration and giving.